Hello there and welcome to another episode of Wiki Weekend. I'm your host for this episode, Lucas Holland, and as always, I'm joined by the lovely Karl Smallwood.
Hell yeah.
And for those who don't know what Wiki Weekends is, we just wind up a wiki, we take a deep dive, and we keep swimming until we find something to talk about. And Karl, this is one where I'm going to be able to talk a lot about this subject, but maybe not you so much.
Okay, Lucas, what are we talking about? What are you going to guide my hips on today?
I'm guiding your hips through the world of Destiny 2 as we talk about one of the characters, Cayde 6.
Okay, so I know nothing about Destiny except for the fact that Destiny is a thing that you and your missus have basically invested more time than I spent on my degree in, right?
I mean, currently just my Xbox time on that game is over 100 days.
Okay,
So
that's probably about as long as I spent studying my degree.
Yeah,
if you're honest.
At least like a couple thousand hours on that game, plus like whatever I've played on PlayStation and stuff. But yeah, like, you know, also let's bear in mind that one of my two dogs is named after this character. I've literally got Cayde and Oryx as my dogs.
So, obviously, you're going to be putting lots of pictures of your dog. Your famous dog. Your dog who's more famous than me and you combined.
I mean, not really, but like, in a jokey way, yes.
No, your dog is. Let's, tell the story of why you've got a famous dog.
So, I have what Karl likes to call a famous dog, because...
It is a famous dog.
I basically have put a bunch of GIFs online of mostly Cayde. There's a few of Oryx, but I need to I've got a bunch of Oryx, but we only rescued him not long ago, and I haven't been very good at keeping the Giphy updated. But basically, if you go to Giphy or Tenor or anything, the websites that you can use GIFs on, one of the top search results, or many of the top search results, when you search for sausage dogs or Dachshunds or whatever, or just Cayde or stuff like that, it comes up with my dog.
Yeah, to the point where, on our Facebook group chat, when I send pitch sausage dogs, I'm pretty sure that's Luke's sausage dog, right? And you went, yeah, that's Cayde. I'm like, what?
And I just checked then, if I just go to Giphy alone, the GIFs of my dog have amassed 84.4 million views so far.
Yeah, and I can go look at, while you're doing that, I'm going to look at the lifetime views of FactFiend. I'm just going to do that in the background, right? We'll find out.
So yeah, most of the time, if you search sausage dog on a service that provides GIFs, you will very quickly find multiple GIFs of my own dog, Cayde.
Which is very impressive. Like I say, you've got a very famous dog. Yeah, so I've just got the lifetime views for FactFiend here is 330 million.
Okay, so he's getting up there.
Yeah, but that's that's 800, that's over 1,000 videos. How many GIFs of Cayde are there? What, 40?
122.
Yeah. So if you so you've got 100. So yeah, more famous than me. My life's work has been undone by a very cute dog, and I'm happy. I'm okay with that.
The top one is the one where Cayde's just given the side eye, which it presumably will be on screen, and that's got currently 20 million views.
That's more views than any FactFiend video ever got.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, Cayde. Good on you, Cayde.
He's a better content creator than we are, Karl.
Absolutely, yeah. I've had a look as well, the lifetime views. Oh my god, it absolutely dwarfs the lifetime views of Wiki Weekends.
Oh yeah, that must be 1 point something million, right?
It is about 1.5 million, yeah. Unless this video goes super viral. Hint, 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 hint.
So yeah, make sure, you like, share, and comment on this video. Let us know what your favourite Destiny character is that you would name a dog or pet after. Or if you have any named after Destiny characters,
yeah, let us know if you've got, I love when people call their dogs and cats such stupid fucking names.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one of those things where the dog doesn't care. The dog doesn't give a shit. So why not just give your dog a stupid name?
It's very funny, just the amount of people who just obviously don't play Destiny. Say, oh, what's your dog called? And it's like, oh, we've got one called Cayde and one called Oryx. And they're like, what? What? What's that name? And I keep persisting that we should go through, because the second dog we have, Oryx, is named after one of the leaders of the Hive, and I keep saying that if we ever get them more siblings, we should name them Oryx's siblings in game, which is Xivu Arath and Savathun. And I'm like, we should just commit. We should. No,
I think you should just call one of them Jerry, so they don't match. It reminds me of that amazing tweet from that lass who's every time my boyfriend has to call up the vet for our pet cat, and it's so what's your name? Greg. What's your cat's name? He's I hear a big sigh and says, Baby Greg. It's perfect, right?
Oh, that's great, yeah.
Oh, it's like that other one of remember my sister's boyfriend. This is like a tweet that I'm like just half remembering, right? It's like, my sister had a boyfriend called like Jeff, and we had a cat called Jeff, and he got so annoyed that we called him Human Jeff that he broke up with my sister.
Getting back to Cade 6 himself, Karl, we have a quote here from Cade 6.
Is it? No, I'm being shot.
I mean, it's not far off. It's every story has an end. This is mine. And presumably that is Cade 6's final words.
Are you sure it's not? I have contractual obligations for another project.
I've got to go be in more castle.
Isn't that why, like... Is that, like, Nathan Fillion voices Cade, right? This is the character I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Is it actually that he had to go... He was contractually obligated to go do more episodes of Castle that he couldn't commit to being Cade, and they killed him off?
Richard Castle, you are under arrest for felony theft and obstruction of justice.
You forgot making you look bad.
I don't know whether it was like he was contractually obligated or he just didn't want to play the character anymore because he was busy with projects like Castle getting him way more money.
Which he fucking hated being in, by the way.
But he got a big fucking paycheck, no doubt.
And syndication rights, yeah. Because being in like a syndicated show is like, doesn't matter if you hate the show, it's about those sweet, like that money on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Or the cast of Friends. Never had to be in anything after they appeared in that show.
That's the thing, there's going to be mums watching Castle for the next 30 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny just hearing how obsessive it's like. No one knows what Castle is that's like our age, but it's like, but I know that my mum watches it all the time. Like,
you can say that, Lucas, but you know I'm obsessed with shitty police. I found a new one recently. I've been watching a new one.
Really?
It's called Body of Proof. It's about a lady who used to be a surgeon, and then she killed someone on the operating table, so she's only allowed to look at dead bodies anymore.
Oh, I've heard all about Dr. Hunt. This must be our lucky day.
She can't kill anyone else now.
Yeah, and she gives other surgeons shit, and it's like, well, you killed someone on the operating table, so fuck you.
Yeah.
So wait for an episode about that.
Okay.
I will never stop finding these, Lucas. Every time you think I've found the bottom of the barrel, I look underneath and go, wow, another barrel.
So we have some biographical information. Does it count as biographical if they're a robot?
Was Cade a robot?
Yes, yes.
That's it. I know nothing about Destiny. My experience with Destiny is, it's made by the guys that made Halo. I played the first one for about a week and went, I just can't be arsed with this grind. And clearly we're on opposite ends of a spectrum.
When I told you, like, no, like, Destiny 2 is getting a lot better, like, and it's a roller coaster. The 10 years of Destiny has been a roller coaster, no doubt. But I was like, oh yeah, it is getting really good, and like the build crafting's like really cool now in the game and stuff. I remember you just messaging me like, this game, like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's like when I tried to play Warframe, and I booted up and there's like 18 different currencies and like 400 different planets, and I went, it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like walking into like a shop and just like you get someone walks up to you and says, can I help you? And it's kind of overwhelming sometimes when you're like, you've got your headphones in, you've got like a plan. Imagine that, but it's 14 people at once come up and ask if you need help. That's what it's like, and I was like, no, thank you, it's too much.
Speaking of Cade is currently now barking and interrupting the recording.
He's probably because he can hear his name being shouted out a lot. Imagine how weird that'd be if you were just sat in the room and you could just hear, like, your missus in the room going, Lucas. And you're like, what? That's what Cade's doing. He's like, what?
He's like, please stop. I can't get upstairs to your office. What do you want?
It's so funny watching him walk upstairs. It still cracks me up because he's a sausage dog. He said when he tries to get into bed, he has to like go backwards like an articulated lorry. He's so long.
It's always funny watching them get stuck and just backing up that truck.
I expect this video to have so many clips of just Cade. Surely that's the excuse you're making for this one, right? To put lots of clips of in your Destiny plays, of course.
Mainly the reason I picked Cade specifically, and also because, spoilers that are in the trailer for the new expansion that's about to come out. Like, Cade's coming back.
I wish you could have been there.
Yeah, me too, kiddo. But hey, I'm here now. Wherever the hell here is.
Is it Nathan Fillion?
Yeah. He's clearly done with Castle, and he's like, fuck it. We'll even though my character is dead, we'll figure a way out.
How the fuck does a robot die? Just build another one.
I mean, that's the thing, that's the reason they're called Cade 6, is because it's the 6th iteration of Cade.
It just comes back as Cade 7 then, done.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, his brain's kind of got blown out, so I don't know how achievable that is.
Build another one. Fuck it, he got better.
But yes, Cade is an exo, which is the species that are like robot-like with brains implanted into them, essentially. Like, people's minds get transferred into exo bodies.
Because it's like, it looks sick as fuck.
Mm-hmm. It does,
There's no downside.
I mean, there isn't really.
No.
Especially when you're a Guardian exo, because that means you also get fucking superpowers and can't die.
Except for when Kay died.
No, so the thing that keeps you alive is, like, your ghost in the game.
Oh, you're Peter Dinklage.
Your little Peter Dinklage, but...
That's how long ago I played this game.
They set up a plan in Forsaken where they destroy his ghost and then kill him on the spot.
Any last words? How's your sister?
If that's the case, why do they bring their ghost around with them? Because it'd be like Dorian Gray carrying the painting that he needs to be destroyed on his back everywhere he goes.
Okay, but hear me out, they also die a lot. So they do need revived. Like, the amount of times I need revived on an average mission, Karl.
But the thing is that I'd put that in orbit. It's like, but it's going to take you a long time to get back. It's like, but will I die? No? Okay. If I live forever, I've got an infinite amount of time to go back to where I need to go.
I mean, sometimes there's a time pressure, Karl. So a lot of gods are trying to take over different ways, like parts of the universe and shit.
Fair enough.
His gender is male. His eye colour is light aqua blue. They're very piercing eyes. And he is affiliated with the Vanguard and the City. His rank is Hunter Vanguard, which essentially means leader of the Hunters. And then, obviously, that insinuates his class is also Hunter. And that basically makes him a rogue. That's what the archetypes are. Is like,
it makes him a Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, like a Titan is like a warrior, the Warlocks are like mages, and the Hunters are like rogues.
Yeah, well, just say Nathan Fillion. The lovable rogue. That is just that's the role he's been playing for, 25 years?
Yeah, essentially, if you've watched Firefly, you know who Cade is. That is very similar kind of character, but this time it's, well, instead of charming Nathan Fillion being in the Firefly universe, it's charming Nathan Fillion being like a superpowered Hunter Vanguard in Destiny.
He also plays that in Castle.
Yeah.
In Castle, he puts his old Firefly outfit back on and swans around like a dickhead, and they're like, stop wearing that.
He actually puts the Firefly outfit on.
He puts the full outfit on, yeah, and his daughter in the show is like, Dad, that was 5 years ago, get over it. It's like, it's still cool though, right? And she's like, no, it's not. It was never cool.
Space cowboy.
Okay, A, there are no cows in space. B, didn't you wear that like 5 years ago?
So?
So don't you think you should move on?
I like it.
Oh no. And like, I still think Firefly is cool, but maybe we've all turned around on Joss Whedon a little bit.
It was just a little bit, yeah.
Just a tad.
So I'm going to put my main character in a chair and have her beaten by people, because that shows how strong she is. Okay, Joss Whedon.
What we're going to do now is we're going to go through the introductory couple of paragraphs where there's quite a few proper nouns, and then we're just going to talk about like the personality afterwards so that we can get a bit more broad. So everyone just like bear with me for 2 minutes while I say a lot of Destiny words.
Okay, I want you to just read this out as it's written. 'Cause the fun thing about Wiki Weekends is that sometimes just the very matter-of-fact way stuff's written can be funny. So I want you to read out the following paragraph verbatim with no inflection. And I'm just going to, like, every time a word confuses me, I'm going to, like, say what.
Cade 6 is an Exo Guardian and former Vanguard for the Hunter class who was partnered with the Ghost Sundance.
What? I think 50% of those words I don't get. I need context. Please tell me all those things, all those words I don't get are like blue words.
Of course they are, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everything's got like, different pages to explain everything for you, Karl. For anyone that does delve into the wikis that we post in the description. And yeah, a famous explorer and adventurer in his younger days, Cade ran off with a pack of hunters that included Shiro 4 and Andal Brass.
Okay, these are some sci-fi names. Does anyone in this universe have a normal name?
Not really, no.
Is there not like just one person called like Steve?
No.
Yeah. This is like that like Conan game. Have you seen that Conan game that I'm in?
Oh, yes. Well, there's just someone called Karl Smallwood in this Conan game.
But it's in like it's the Conan Exiles game where everyone's got like Grognak, like the fucking slave driver or whatever, and there's one character in it for no reason. It's called Karl Smallwood, the Taskmaster, and I've never got confirmation on whether that's a reference to me, because I have a very unique name.
There's not many Smallwoods that... I think you might be the only Smallwood I've encountered in my life.
And also the way my first name is spelled, and it's just why is there a character in, like, Conan world with my name?
It's very, very strange. As you say, more because every other name is, like, Diggleback the Digger.
Yeah, or, like Grabnar or something like that. Or Conan.
Andal Brask was the predecessor as Hunter Vanguard, after Andal was murdered by Tanix the Scarred, whom Cade was believed to be previously killed. Cade took up his friend's post in the tower, despite his hatred of being stuck doing paperwork and unable to go on missions.
Who the fuck's gonna make a robot make you do paperwork? Like, do you like those, like, Boston Dynamics robot dogs that strap flamethrowers to?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you make it do paperwork? It's a robot. Send it to battle.
An almost invincible robot with superpowers, and one of the most skilled, like, marksmen in the entire universe, and it's like, make him sit down and tell Guardians what to do. It's like, but you do a better job at it.
Yeah, this feels like something I could do as an email every morning.
That is, though, the entire point where, you know, Cade Six's character is the one that keeps breaking out of the office with you and going to try and do missions, whereas Zavala and Ikora are just always in the tower like, okay, you go do your work, Guardian, I'll look after things in the tower. And Cade's like, I need to get out of here, man. Let's go do some shit. Let's go look for some loot.
I'm so fucking sick of paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
An unsanctioned op using modified stealth tech to infiltrate a dreadnought above Saturn's rings so we can knock out its weapons, create a transmat zone, and send in the cavalry.
And that's what, you know, one of the many reasons why Cade became one of the fan favourite characters almost immediately, because he's way more endearing and he's just the one that's like, let's get out there and get some loot, baby, come on.
It's because, man, have you any idea how boring paperwork is in the Destiny? Have you any idea how long it takes to send a fucking email when you got to type all these names out?
As the Hunter Vanguard, Cade often looked the other way or facilitated Guardians who operated outside of normal operating procedures. Despite this, he became a close friend of both of his fellow Vanguards, Commander Zavala and Ikora Rey. During the Taken War, he assisted the Guardian in infiltrating the Dreadnought to defeat Oryx, the Taken King.
Okay,
his brother.
Yeah. When does, like, Peter Dinklage come into this?
Peter Dinklage was the voice of the Ghost, all players' ghosts.
Yeah, and did he get fired for doing such a shit job?
It literally, year one of Destiny, it was Peter Dinklage with all the voice lines. And then just without even coming up with a universal explanation, there's no lore behind it. It's just, yeah, this is Nolan North's voice now. Get on with it.
Didn't they just, like, completely undo and overwrite all of his, like, dialogues? It was that bad.
Yeah, there's no Peter Dinklage lines left in the game. It was all Nolan North after the first year. Like, they literally re-recorded all the old lines and everything.
And I guess you could put a clip in about how just disinterested, because I remember that's one of the immediate put-off of the game, of just how disinterested Peter Dinklage sounded.
It's like, oh, look, that wizard came from the moon.
Yeah, Tyrion Lannister's going to be, like, guiding me around, which sounds awesome, and just his line delivery was so bad.
That wizard came from the moon. I thought we had them contained there. The darkness could be a lot closer than we think.
It was literally so shocking that A, people made an immediate meme out of how bad the voice was, and B, they fucking replaced him.
And they didn't replace him because of, like, any drama or controversy. It's not like a Kevin Spacey situation. It's just, your performance was that bad.
Yeah.
We just got a better one in. Like, imagine that in a movie. It's like, sorry, we're going to CGI out, like, this person because they're why? Did they do something wrong behind the scenes? No, it was just shit.
The only one that I can think that's even, like, equivalent is the is it Eric Stoltz that got replaced in Back to the Future for Martin?
Yeah, because he was being a dick behind the scenes. But he was not dick, he was difficult to work with.
But he had, like, a very dour approach on the character and didn't really meet the expectations of Zemeckis, right? And they were like,
yeah, so the story there is for Back to the Future is originally Eric Stoltz, who's played Marty McFly, and he refused to play it like a comedy because when they asked him, he's like, well, this isn't a comedy. This is, like, the most horrifying movie I've ever worked on. It's like, why? It's like, well, the end of the movie is Marty McFly is he wins. He goes back to the future, and all his family's, like, doing great. He goes, but that's not his family. His family dies. He goes back to a future that he doesn't remember, full of people who don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And he refused to play the role anything other than that, and just got kicked off the set.
Yeah. It's just... That's the closest I can think of, but to just straight up, yeah, not even like a difference in opinion of how the character should be played or anything, just you did such a bad job of these voice lines that we just got a voice actor in.
Yeah. We got someone in cheaper who's better than you. Like, we got your non-union Mexican equivalent.
I don't know, like, how much Nolan North charges, but I can't imagine it's super cheap.
I'm guessing it's less than Peter Dinklage.
Probably at the time, right? Because
just off of Game of Thrones, Peter Dinklage. It still cracks me up to this day. It was so bad they replaced him.
Yeah.
It cracks me up so much. Like, we just got rid of him. Why? Because he was shit.
Going back to this, when I did say that he defeated Oryx, the Taken King, his brother, I just meant my sausage dogs are brothers and they're Cade and Oryx. They're nothing to do with one another in game, for anyone wondering.
There might be, you don't know.
They're definitely not, I can tell you. I do know, Karl. I've read a lot of the lore.
Well, here's the thing as well, because we've been talking about Destiny, which means you're technically now a Destiny YouTuber. Why are you not shitting on the game? Why are you not saying this gun's bad, or this build's terrible, or the game's ruined?
Oh, well, you know, they ruined my life by, like, nerfing sun braces. It's like,
That's what you got to do, yeah, right? You got to do that. You got to put, like, your face in the thumbnail of, like, Destiny, this build is ruined.
Mm-hmm. I'm the one that just went, I'm going to play as the one that's got a fucking cape. That looks cool.
That's all I need.
Yeah. It's just, but straight away it's like, well, I don't really know which one of the three I'm going to pick, but that one's got a cloak on. I'm picking the one with a cloak, and I imagine that's why I think it's like 60% of players are hunters, because they just go, oh, that cloak looks cool.
Just fashion, yeah. It's like, it still baffles me that in like Destiny, they've not gone to the lengths of putting a catwalk in yet. Why is there not a catwalk in the main citadel so you can walk in and show off your fashion?
I mean, that's the thing, is like fashion's a massive part of Destiny, as is many like, you know, MMO games like this and stuff like that. Any loot-based game, there are people who have like tower casuals, quote unquote. That just means that when they go to the social spaces, they put on their social space outfit to show off their fashion. Like, it's not a build that's useful in the game necessarily. It's just, here's the outfit that I wear just to look good in the tower and in the social areas.
Absolutely, yeah. I used to do the same thing when you play Monster Hunter. As soon as you get the ability to transmog, it's just like, okay, I'm going to put on like the most optimal shit for my build, but my top outfit's going to be my favourite outfit. And
that was a glorious moment in Destiny where, after like years of asking for it, we finally got transmog, which basically, for anyone that doesn't know, just means I've got one piece of armor that is good, but I can make it look like another piece of armor without changing the stats or anything.
So you can just, like, you know, you can make your character look the way you want rather than fall into a trap like a lot of games of like, well, I'm equipping the most optimal stuff, but it doesn't look like it matches and it's not the same colour.
Yeah, you just look like a fucking pots and pans robot by the end of it or something.
Although there is some charm to that, I will admit. There is a certain amount of charm to just dressing like a dickhead.
Mm-hmm. There is, for sure. He later fought beside the Guardian on the front lines of the Red War. His experiences in the Red War led Cade to leave his duties in the Last City frequently to return to the field missions, leading to his demise in the Prison of Elders at the hands of Uldensov and the Scorn Barons.
No, he's at the hands of 20th Century Fox, who needed him for 3 more seasons of Castle.
I love that, like, when you go to just personality here, because I've gone straight there, because, like, we'll just talk about Cade and that type of character that Nathan Fillion often plays, but I'm just going to send a GIF that hopefully copies well from this here for you.
Is it a GIF of your dog?
No, it's not. And I think it's just sent as a PNG and not a GIF, but it's just...
Yeah, it's just him doing,
Cade, like riding an explosion, like, woohoo! And that just sums up Cade straight away of like, yeah, I'm just here for a good time, and because I'm nearly unkillable, you would have thought a long time, but, you know... Sadly
I'm always
not.
a fan, though, of, like, yeah, when you have characters, like robot characters especially, who know that they're invincible or have, like, increased durability. Like, the game's not great, like, Detroit Become Human. It's not a great game, but there was a really good moment in that where the robot character you play as, Connor, he has a fight scene with some cops, and one of the things that he does, he just puts the gun to his own chest and shoots to himself. Because he has perfect robotic accuracy and knows that it's not a vital organ. And so he just shoots through his own body to hit the person behind him who's got him in a chokehold.
Nice.
But just something like that of, like, yeah, perfect robot efficiency.
Like, well, it's not going to kill me or damage me too badly, so I'm just going to shoot through myself. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. And I do like when like robotic characters or characters who have like an increased amount of durability do like Wolverine, just fuck it, throw me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm bulletproof, throw me at him.
Yeah, just, oh what, there's a horde of Sentinels there, launch me at them. The first line here for Cade 6's personality is just laid back, carefree, down to earth, reckless, and adventurous are among the best words to describe Cade 6. It's so easy to like a character like this, just, as we say, like, just the rogue going off and having fun, who doesn't want to be, like, held down by paperwork. It's like, let's go and do the adventures.
Well, what's the thing? It's like Nathan Fillion's very good at playing the characters who are just effortlessly likable because they're so charismatic. Like, Nathan Fillion as an actor has a great amount of presence and charisma, which carries over to a lot of his roles, why a lot of people have fondness for like Firefly. Similar to like Alan Tudyk, isn't it? Who was in that show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has a lot of just natural charisma.
I think, to be fair, a lot of the Firefly cast do, but yeah, it's even amongst that cast, Nathan Fillion was a bit of a standout, and everyone was immediately like, yeah, this is a cool character, I'm willing to just fly around with this captain and have a cool time.
It's like Nathan Fillion in Castle. He has like, he's effortlessly charismatic, and there's like just, you can tell there's a lot of moments where he's just him being himself. That was a running gag that everyone keeps mistaking him for Jason Bateman. And they keep saying, oh, like, oh, Mr. Bateman. Mr. Bateman was like, that stopped being funny 2 seasons ago.
It says a lot because Cade 6 dies at the beginning of the year 5 of Destiny 2, and we're now going into year 10 of Destiny 2. And people still sit there and fondly remember Cade and talk about how Cade's basically the best character that the game has had.
The fact, like they say, Cade 6, and they didn't do the joke of just Cade 7. Like, what they should have done is like, every time he dies, just get a new one.
That's basically, like, you know, what happens for the most part with Exos is, you know, Cade must have been Cade 1 at some point.
Yep.
Transferred consciousness into, like, different bodies over time, but...
When they bring him back, you don't know how they're going to bring him back, right? You know he's coming back, but you don't know how or what the explanation's going to be.
We've got, like, a teaser of the explanation, but we don't really know until the final shape comes out in... really not very long. Like, there's less than a week of recording, and I'm very excited.
Would you be happy with just the Mass Effect explanation, which you want to explain that for people who maybe don't know?
I mean, are we going with like the one line, or are we going with the actual explanation?
No, the one line that cuts it, like that Commander Shepard says. Because
Commander Shepard, I think it's during one of like the loyalty missions or something, basically goes in. I think it actually might be recruiting Thane. But anyway, walks into a room, and someone goes, Commander Shepard, I thought you were dead. It's like, oh yeah, I got better. And then just shoots the person. That was it, and just shoots them.
The thing is, I'm happy with that. Like, it's a really good example of like whether or not your series has built up enough goodwill with fans.
The player knows the explanation of going through the start of the game being rebuilt and stuff by Cerberus, but
even then, that's a bullshit explanation of like, fuck it, we brought Commander Shepard back.
That's the thing, is like the start of that game, Commander Shepard was alive, so it wasn't really a big twist or anything.
But I just think it's one of those, like, it's a sign of whether or not your series has built up enough goodwill. And I think of like Fast and Furious, where like Han dies in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. They made 5 movies that are technically before that in the canon because the actor's so charismatic. 2 movies where he's dead, and then they brought him back. And I was legit pissed off. They didn't just say, I got better.
And that's the thing with Mass Effect, right? Is it's not just that Commander Shepard died. Commander Shepard fell from space into a planet, like, went through like re-entry through atmosphere and burnt up and everything. And it's just, yeah, Cerberus rebuilt Shepard, it's fine.
Yeah, got better. Don't talk about it. It didn't take. But that's it. It's a good example of like, has your series got enough fan goodwill to get away with bullshit? It's because people like the character enough where we don't care what the explanation is, just put the character on screen now.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things of, I get why they've shown off Cade in the marketing material from like second one, but it is one of those annoying things of, it would have been so hype to get into this expansion with no knowledge that one of my favourite characters is coming back. And then all of a sudden, like, you go into this new expansion, you're like a mission or 2 in, and then a cutscene happens where it's like, wait, Cade's back? Like, what the fuck? And like, it would have been such a cool pop-off moment, whereas instead we got the information in a trailer a year before the expansion came out.
It's always the problem, isn't it, of like just some, like almost every like person making media, it's the Marvel problem of we can't help but blow our load in the trailer because we want to get nerds excited online. And we include ourselves in that description.
Yes, of course. And that's the thing is, well, how do we convince all of these Destiny players that have fallen off over the years to try and come back for this expansion? And it's like, oh, well, we've got to throw, like, this cool new set of powers at them. We've got to tell them that Cade's coming back. I wish that they had the ability to keep more held back, but that doesn't
have faith
work.
that they're making a good product that people are going to enjoy.
But it's proven to work, that spoiling people on cool moments as trailers and stuff for marketing purposes, it does get more people back in.
It does, and it's been a problem for literally years. It goes all the way back to, like, you know, even the very dawn of film. Like, film trailers back in the day literally used to tell you the entire plot.
Right, yeah.
And then you have, like, famous examples of spoilers, like Terminator 2. The twist of the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator being the good guy, spoiled in the trailer.
Yeah.
In the trailer.
The first, 20 minutes, I want to say, is the suspense of, holy shit, like, he's going to get John Connor.
That's the way they have the moment where he walks in and John Connor shits himself, and then it's the get down. That's the moment where the twist happens.
Yeah.
Well, that was in the trailer?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that... It is more the T-1000 tracking John Connor down, isn't it? But
you think, the T-1000 must be the good guy, because it takes
800 or 850 or whatever turns up and goes like, oh, holy shit, like, the bad Terminator's back, yeah.
Yeah, and he says, get down. And they do everything they can in that initial, 20 minutes to convince you that he's the bad Terminator, and if you watch the trailer, you already know. You already know he's a good guy.
Now his mission...
Get down!
...is to protect it.
Come with me if you want to live.
I'm sure plenty of people went and saw Terminator off the back of that trailer.
Yeah, I don't think Terminator 2 needs much help to be one of the best movies ever made. But it's still frustrating to know that that moment was ruined. It was snatched away from people because the people making the trailer let's just tell everyone the twist.
And I think it's very funny because, you know, I think one of the worst ones for it is anime, where you can't watch anime openings if you don't want spoilers for the rest of the season.
Will Goku triumph over Frieza? Find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Frieza defeated. That's a real moment. That's a real thing for fans of Dragon Ball. In the initial, maybe it wasn't in the Japanese version, but the version we got over here, they literally said, will Goku triumph over Frieza? Find out in the next episode they titled Frieza defeated. So I wonder what's going to happen in that episode.
Coming back to Cade here, though Cade can appear to be lazy and bored with his duties as Hunter Vanguard, he actually does take his role seriously, more so than he would ever admit. Originally, Cade wanted to continue his solo Guardian career, but after his friend was murdered, he put that aside and assumed his place to honour his friend. And I do like as well that it talked about on another fandom page that I looked at and didn't explain things as well, that he participated in the Vanguard Dare, which essentially is going through a bet. And if you lose the bet, you become the leader of the hunters.
I guess no one wants to do it.
And I love the idea that hunters are the rogues that want to get shit done on the field. So they all have to bet each other to lose to get the leader position.
It's also a good idea of the best leader is someone who doesn't think they should be a leader. Usually they end up being the best leaders because they understand that it's a responsibility no one person should have, which makes them more aware of the weight each decision they make carries.
It's so funny, the idea of just, I didn't really want to do this, but I guess I'll take up the bet.
I did lose a bet, and that's shows he's a rogue, but he's an honourable rogue. I made a bet and I lost, and I will honour the bet. I will honour the terms of the bet. It says a lot about his character.
It does, yeah. I'm just very excited to get back to seeing what Cade, does in the game and how much of a pivotal role he plays. And I'm kind of gonna be a bit upset if they bring him back properly. I wonder if this is just a moment of he shows up and you kind of get to interact with the kind of ghost of him for a while. Not his ghost, but the kind of memory of him, his ghost kind of thing, for a bit, and they don't bring him permanently back, because that's the problem with actually definitively killing a character, having them dead for years, there's no way back for them, and then bringing them back, it just opens up a can of worms.
I'm why don't you bring this person back? But if he's he's a robot, and I think when your character's called Cade 6, You've got an inbuilt excuse for how to bring that character back.
But within the lore, they have already like established there isn't a way to bring him back, and there hasn't been for years.
Lucas, fuck it, they figured it out. He'd come back.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, I'm just gonna ask a question. What about if it was a boss fight? Because that's also something they do in like games, like when you think a character's dead, or they bring them back as a boss fight.
That would be very cool. The funny thing is that they've kind of already done with this a lot of previous bosses in Destiny of like, oh, you thought Crota was dead, but now we found an enemy with the ability to like bring the ghost of Crota back to fight and stuff like that. Yeah.
Make
So
him a boss
it
fight.
would be cool, but they have already played that card multiple times with previous bosses.
But it's always it's a good card, though, isn't it?
It is a good card to play.
When it's like Hades 2, it's like, well, you're gonna have like boss fights in the previous game, right? They're gonna turn up.
Make me fight Cerberus. Do it.
Yeah, like they're gonna do that, right?
They've got to. I'm sure. Yeah.
So put fucking Zagreus in as this optional super boss. Let's go.
I was about to say, is it going to be that Zagreus becomes like the end boss of the game?
And give him all of the powers that he had in the previous game.
I do like this because the class that Cade 6 is portrayed as is like a gunslinger, which is all about like, you know, using a hand cannon and knives and like precision work and stuff. And it does say here about his death. From his death, he will be forever remembered as a piece of the Vanguard puzzle that had all the care and a heart a Guardian could, even at the hardest of times. And in the words of Cade himself, a knife thrown just right can accomplish wonderful things. For the Guardian inside of us, we are the knife.
Yeah, that's what it's true. It's like, you know, it only takes one bullet. It's like, weirdly, I think it's that line, I think it's Vin Diesel says it in Saving Private Ryan. Of like, put me within a mile of Hitler and I'll end this war with one bullet.
I forget that Vin Diesel was ever in that movie.
Everyone always does, because it's before Vin Diesel became like a weirdo obsessed with like fighting The Rock.
Yeah, because there was a moment in time where he was just a genuine, like, small-time actor. That, well, not small-time, but, like, up-and-coming actor that didn't have this, like, seemingly massive ego around him.
Before he was Vin Diesel, he was like Vin Petrol. It's before he became Vin Diesel. And I will say as well, I'm a big fan of the character in a universe full of guns who's like, you know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use a knife. Because that's like usually the scariest character. Like, when you've got a universe full of guns, and there's a character who's like, well, fuck that pussy shit, I've got a knife. That's the scariest character in that universe. It's like Revengeance, isn't it? Where, like, you know, just the president fights with dual katanas. It's like, what are you going to do? I've got a machine gun, and then he just deflects all your bullets. You're like, oh. That's why he's the president.
There's a bit of trivia here that I didn't actually know about.
Okay, tell me some trivia that I don't know. I definitely don't know it.
Obviously, Cade 6, we mentioned, is voiced by Nathan Fillion, but in Forsaken, the expansion where Cade 6 gets immediately killed off in Mission 1, Cade 6 is actually voiced by Nolan North rather than Nathan Fillion. North also being the person who voices the Guardian's ghost, as we were talking about earlier.
That's so funny. It's like Nathan Fillion couldn't even be asked to turn up to get killed.
Oh, wow, Karl.
What's that?
Amusingly, Fillion did not return to the voice of Cade because he was already contracted on another project. Can you guess what that was?
Is it Castle?
No.
If it's not Castle, what the fuck else was he in?
It's something gaming related. That
was it Big Bang Theory?
No.
So I know he was in Big Bang Theory for a couple episodes.
No, this is a movie that did go somewhere in the end, but it was a mid-budget Uncharted fan film where he was playing North's most famous role, Nathan Drake.
Legendary treasure hunter, explorer, historian, thief.
Whoa, hey, I think you have me confused with somebody else, pal.
Oh, so because I remember there's that fan film that everyone says is better than the Tom Holland one because Nathan Fillion just looks like Nathan Drake.
Yeah, so because Fillion was busy playing Nolan North's character, Nathan Drake, in a fan movie, Nolan North had to come in and fill in the role of Nathan Fillion's Cade.
That is so weird, but also the fact that, like, a fan project somehow managed to, like, tie up a big-name actor.
Contract's a contract.
Contract is a contract. Well, the fact that you signed, like, a non-compete clause for a fucking fan film.
Yeah,
what lawyers were making that shit?
I wonder what the fuck was in that contract to stop him doing a voice acting role.
Yeah, it's like something you can literally phone in a performance. Remember during the pandemic, you know, like rip in peace Lance Reddick, where he was just like, yeah, I recorded it in my wardrobe.
Yeah.
Just going into his wardrobe and just doing Zavala lines.
Obviously, shout out to Lance Reddick for just being like an amazing part of the Destiny community for years. And
but he loved it, right?
He loved it, and he
fucking
played
loved
the game.
Zavala.
He played the game, and one of my favourite things is Zavala is the Titan equivalent. He is the Vanguard leader for the Titans, so he's Cade's counterpart. And Lance Reddick always bragged about the fact that Warlocks were the best, and he played Warlock.
He didn't even play his own class.
He doesn't even play his own class.
He didn't even play his own fucking... To be fair, how weird would it be, like, taking orders from yourselves? Like, well, I do what I want.
Don't tell me what to do, Dad. This is just yourself. Like, leave me alone.
Lance Reddick was so fucking cool. Can we put the clip in of when he freaked out Eric Andre again?
Again, I literally used that clip like 2 weeks ago.
Because he's so funny.
I wish I would have. Where's my iconic slave role? Hey, motherfucker. I wish I would have all y'all! All y'all!
Just there's like loads of different ones where it's like talking about his proficiency as a gunslinger and he's a proficient user of the golden gun and all that. And it's like, Kate 6 is particularly fond of chickens.
Yeah, I am. I like chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Chickens are amazing animals.
They are, yeah.
Like, they are like fascinating creatures. Do you always like that death metal chicken? You know about death metal chicken?
I don't think
it's like a species of chicken where every aspect of it is entirely black, including its bones and flesh.
Oh,
and it's like fucking death metal chicken. Let's go.
I thought you weren't talking about a race of chickens or type of chicken. I thought you were saying there was like a singular chicken in a death metal band or something.
Well, there's that parrot that's in a death metal band. It's called Hatebeak. And it's a parrot that its owner was like a death metal singer, and it would copy his screams, so he recorded them and puts them over his music.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's a real thing, you can look it up.
I'll try and get a clip in if I can.
Yeah, Hatebeak.
Cade even has named his pet chicken Colonel and used it to distract Cabal soldiers during the liberation of the last city.
Just call it a chicken Colonel.
Go, Colonel, go!
I'm just imagining just launching a chicken at him like 100 miles an hour. Like a cuckoo in like Legend of Zelda.
Just to show that, he's clearly a character that is fondly remembered if it wasn't enough evidence of their fucking bringing him back. Last bit of trivia here, just Cade has been mentioned in nearly every single DLC after his death, demonstrating the tremendous impact Cade's death had on the Vanguard.
But to be fair, like when you're like unkillable and then someone managed to fucking kill you, that's something people are going to talk about for a long time.
There's only a handful of moments in Destiny so far where a Guardian has either died or had their abilities at least removed from them.
Like they're permanently died, as in the sense like not killed, like actually forever.
Oh yeah, I
just
die
removed
every
from
30 seconds on the battlefield. It's fine, you just get your ghost to bring you back. It's okay. Oh, but yes, thank you for all just bearing with me if you're not Destiny fans today. And just talking about like how cool it is, and it's very hard to convince anyone to go and try out Destiny if you haven't already. The only thing I can say is that to this day, it's probably one of the best feeling shooters you will play out there.
That's all now. In
terms of just the feel of the gunplay and stuff, it's still top tier, and it still looks and plays great, even as being like Destiny 2's like going into like its 7th year of the sequel now. So yeah. It's just, I also admit the onboarding is terrible, and like coming in as a new player and just having 50 things flash at you and be like, go to everywhere in the galaxy at once. It's like,
My comparison of like, it's like walking into a shop and having 5 different assistants come and ask you if you want help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how overwhelming it is.
Maybe, if you have a friend that is willing to help you and guide your hips, maybe that's the way to go. And I've managed to get a few friends into Destiny that have managed to keep up with Destiny and get into it.
You'll never get me. You'll never get me into Destiny.
I've tried. That's the thing now. I've convinced enough people to do it where I've got a full 6 raid squad now, Karl. I don't need you.
Yeah.
Don't need you anymore. I've found the crew. Oh, but yes, I'm very excited to get into Destiny. And I've not got any concrete plans, but Bungie were nice enough to send me a code for the new expansion and stuff, so I will be streaming some of it. But I also have a week booked off
to play Destiny
when it comes out anyway, to play Destiny. So it's like, the week after the expansion comes out, I'll probably be over on my Twitch playing some casually and stuff. So
I think what you should do is you should just stream, just have a camera pointed at your playtime, and just have it slowly tick up, so people can just see how much Destiny you're playing.
So yeah, as much as I will be like casually streaming some over the next few weeks of it coming out, that first week I'm like sitting down, taking time off, and not being on camera for playing any of it. I'm just going in.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for watching and listening, and thank you, Karl, for bearing with me on some Destiny talk.
No problem. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you all.